How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the studio. It's all done and I'm in, so I can actually finally get back to reviewing guitars. The first guitar we've got up is one that I fell in love with the moment that I saw it because it was completely different. It's not like anything else that's out there, and it just gave me some really heavy Jack White vibes. So that is the Hartwood Deytona. Now, Hartwood is a brand by Gear for Music, and everything that I've seen of theirs has been absolutely fantastic. You would have seen in my Gear for Music tour video that I picked up on this brand, and everything that I played was brilliant. It didn't miss a beat. Compared to some of the quality that Gear for Music have put out in the past, and especially with their own G4M and Sub-Zero brands, they've been a bit hit or miss depending on what day they were made, but everything I've seen of these has been fantastic. So let's talk stats. We're starting off with a mahogany body, we've got a gorgeous maple neck, and we've actually got ebony on the fretboard. Frets are nickel, but really well done, and basically for the price of this guitar at £229, they have no business feeling this good out of the box. For the nuts, this is a Graphtec new bone nut, which again at this price point is really good. We've got a single mini humbucker, we've got a 25.5-inch scale length, we've got a 14-inch radius, 22 medium nickel frets, 42mm nut width, a C-profile set neck, and some really cool pearloid inlays. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I think this body shape's really cool. It's not a common body shape, so it's not been copied from something else, which, you know, it's always a nice change from the usual stuff that you see on the scene, especially in this price range. I've been playing this all week since I got it, and I've not set it up. It's come straight out of the box with just, it's a decent setup. I'm going to give it a bit of a tweak myself, but I wanted to, give a fair test of how good the factory setup was. The tuners seem to be holding their own pretty well. I'll probably keep them. I kind of like the tuning keys on this. They're a little bit different from what I'd normally go for. One of the things I'm really surprised about is it's got a really nice neck volute. So as you get up there, it's just dead comfy in your hand. It's not something that they had to do, but it's it gives it a bit more of a premium feel. And I really love the Gretsch style knobs on this as well. Now, one of the things that people seem to be picking up on a lot is the fact that it's got this sort of raised centre, so it's very reminiscent of a Firebird, which added in with the mini humbucker, it's kind of very Firebird-esque. As you can see, the raised centre is reflected on the back as well, and the general offset shape as well sort of leans towards that too. And one of the things that is like a Firebird is the neck dive, which it's not that prominent, but it is there. But with the weight of this guitar, it's not really a problem. And if you're the sort of person who sits down and plays, then you're probably going to find it quite comfortable. And I hear you all screaming, what are the bad points? Because it's a 230 quid guitar, there's got to be some sort of drawback. The only thing that I found that's slightly questionable is the strings as they come through the body. They're coming across over the top of the bridge, and they're actually touching against the bridge. It might cause string breakage further down the line, but I've been hammering it all week and it's not caused any problems so far. Tuning's really stable. The action's a little bit high out of the box, but if you're buying this sort of guitar, it's not for shredding, it's for sort of more of a vintage bluesy vibe, something a little bit lo-fi, or people who want a little bit of 60s cool. The tortoiseshell on the cavity cover and the scratch plate is fairly cheap, and there are sort of rough edges to it. The edges on the truss rod cover could do with a bit of smoothing out. The screws are countersunk instead of your standard scratch plate screws, which is an interesting choice. Makes it look a little bit more industrial. I'll probably swap them out, but they're alright for now. You can see where they've sort of chewed the screws a little bit in the factory getting them in, but the chrome H on the scratch plate is a nice touch. There's been a lot of people talking about the dryness of the fretboard, but in my experience so far, it's not actually been that dry. It's very, very smooth. It's almost like glass. However, it does look quite dry because it's got white in the grain. I'm assuming that's from a polishing compound, but I'm going to give it a good going over. I'm going to do some modifications to this. I'm not going to do anything heavy duty, but there's a couple of bits I want to do, so I just want to see what I can get out of this machine. With that being said, let's see how it sounds stock. As you can tell, it's outputting a little bit heavier than it looks. It wants to be really pushed through the amp, and it begs for distortion. The cleans are alright. I don't often play clean, so a bit of distortion's alright with me. The pots on this are really smooth. You've got an Alpha A500K and an Alpha B500K, which is your standard setup for humbucker guitars. The only real opinion divider is the transition between the paint and the lacquered maple. I like it. I think it's a nice feature. It feels smooth as hell, and it's something that not many people are doing, and I like things like that. Anything that's a little bit different is cool by me. But no, overall I'm really happy with this. I think for 230 quid you'd struggle to find anything that matches this from the bigger brands. Ibanez are a possibility, but they're going to be cutting some serious corners in order to achieve the price point. But the fretwork on this is fantastic. It's so smooth to play. There's a couple that feel like they're slightly higher, so I might just get the fret rocker on them and just figure that out. But aside from that, in terms of playability, it's absolutely fine. Another nice feature is that when the light hits the inlays, because they're pearloid, they're sort of semi-translucent, it sort of glows around the edges. So the front inlay is actually the side dots as well, which is a really, really clever way to do things. So overall, I'm genuinely happy with this guitar. I think anybody who's got a spare couple £100 for a guitar that wanted something a bit different should absolutely try one. If you can get down to Gear for Music, then try one in person. If you're not near enough to York to do that, then buy one. If it turns out to not be for you, they've got a really good returns policy. But I don't think anybody's going to be returning these unless they're damaged in transit. So let me know what you think. Would you play one of these? I think I'm going to play it all the time, and I've got a lot of guitars to choose from, but recently this has been the one that I've just grabbed because it's light, it's fun, and it's such a small body that it just kind of feels like a toy, so you don't feel like you're doing anything too serious with it, even though it is completely capable. I'll do some modifications to it, and I'll show you that in another video in the future. Peace out.